So I've been waiting for these two Sideshow figures to arrive before I could actually do my top 12 of 2019, as both of these figures shipped on December 30th. These were two figures that I've seen at New York Comic Con and a while before then, and they looked absolutely fabulous. I said that I wanted to add both of them to my collection, so now I have them both in hand. So let's open them up and let's review them. So for accessories, Joker did not disappoint. Let's start our way looking at some of the hands. So I really like the gesturing hands that we see here, and he comes with quite a few of them. So as I usually mention, I do like when gloves are worn, and just the texturing of what is supposed to be the hands underneath looks very well. I usually don't spend a lot of times on the hands, but I just want to show some of the different gesturing options that we do receive. And I really like this. Let me zoom in just a little bit. This texturing here, the small holes along the line, which is supposed to imitate stitching. I think they did a real good job of that. And not only does it stop its way here, it continues throughout. And it's such a minor detail, but it truly helps, as well as the cuff here in this area. So just continuing on with the accessories, what to go with next. Say we take a look at this cane. And the cane is cool. I'm not crazy about it. It's done in two colors, silver up top, black, and again, silver marked at the bottom. I do like this crowbar. I wish it was metal. It is a soft plastic. Have to be careful with this one. But I like the variation of color. This is supposed to imitate it fading in color. I hope that's coming pretty clear on the camera. Let's see if I can increase the lighting some. So that looks good. We receive a revolver. And for whatever reason, it's like the Joker is known for this particular weapon. So the revolver is cool. Nothing great. It's all right. We receive a switchblade. And anytime a company takes time for small details, such as the brass that's painted here, the silver, that's something that I really like. And this is also made out of a plastic. We receive the card, which I think is super dope. It would have been cool if we would have received a whole deck of cards, or just having some outward hell cards instead of simply just the one. I'm trying to focus on this card so you can get a good look, but having some troubles doing so. There we go. And we receive two click clacks. Well, it's not click clack, it's actually click click, excuse me. And we receive a bang sign which attaches to the revolver. I assume, we'll find out later. And last but definitely not least, one of my favorite accessories, an additional head sculpt. And I really like this expression. They really went the extra mile to go in on the mouth. I am definitely going to talk more about this in the design section. And of course, we get a base and stand. So for accessories, I'm giving the Clown Prince a 10 out of 10. So for articulation, Joker is able to look up pretty far. That's actually excellent. And the reason he's able to look up so far is because the head is a separate attachment from the neck. So the neck moves on its own. And as the neck moves back, the head is able to tilt up a phenomenal amount. So that's excellent. So it's able to look down. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that the head is extremely loose, not particularly fond of that. So you do get X amount of pivot and tilt, and the head is able to rotate a full 360, not just the head itself, but the neck. That concerns me. So the arm is able to go up extraordinarily far for a figure to have such cloth material around him. There's a, we'll talk about that later. So I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, Joker is able to do a full 360. If you choose to with the cloth, you just have to alter the arm in order to do so. So it does rotate. At the shoulder, you do have an upper bicep cut. Let me just try to fix this arm back a little. Okay, there we go. You do have rotation at the wrist, which is on a ball peg. So it rotates, hinges up and down, not really side to side. With the arm, you do get a butterfly joint, which works very well, comes in about that much forward, that much backwards. I am very surprised. And with the arm, it bends in that much, which to me is also good. Not as good as the Red Skull, but I will work with that. So working with the torso, there's a upper and a lower part. Using just the upper part, the figure leans forward just so slightly, back a little more, and you do get a good amount of rotation as well as pivot. Using the combination of the two, the Joker is able time to pause. Okay, so that was very easy to put the lower part back on. However, I feel that is something that shouldn't have happened so easily. So I'll make sure not to bend the figure back too much. So using the combination of the two, Joker is able to go back about that much all the way forward, which is phenomenal. And you do have rotation at the waist, which is also great. So the Joker is able to stretch out about that much, and that's because of the material. It stops right here. Any push beyond this point, you will probably damage the pants. So there is upper rotation at the hip. Second point of rotation is all the way at the foot. So the knee is able to, is that single jointed? Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised with that. So the knees are single jointed. So with the foot, it's able to lift up about that much, down that much, decent amount of pivot on the outside, decent amount on the inside. So with the Joker, it's a tale of two tales. The upper torso, everything actually up from the waist up is phenomenal. From the waist down, it's so-so. So for overall articulation, there are some very high points, and I'm going to leave those points being high, and just a few low points. So I'm going to give the Joker an 8 out of 10 for articulation. So as far as being essential to your collection, Joker is one of the most iconic villains. However, we do have some interpretation of Joker in 1/6 form. First, we have the Jack Nicholson Joker. And not just the purple costume, we have him in his mime costume as well. We have the Heath Ledger version of Joker and several variations of that. Sideshow has also given us a previous version of Joker. We have the Hot Toys Arkham video game Joker. We have Toys Era with the new movie Joker. And I nearly forgot we have the Jared Leto versions of Joker. So being that we have so many offerings in a 1/6 scale, I can't give this version of Joker a 10. As if you choose to skip on this version, you can still find another variation of Joker in 1/6 scale. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to give the Joker a 6 out of 10. So for design, originally, I didn't know how I felt about the face, right? So let's talk about what I truly liked, and it was the expression. Let's just zoom in a little bit on that. A little more. I think that this sculpt is phenomenal. Just from the wrinkles, the forehead to the nose, by the eyes, and just that Joker exaggerated laugh or smile. The gums are actually painted. The teeth look great. The tongue nearly looks real. And I like the very clean line of red that goes around. The eyes have a gloss, like a fantastic scope, even to the ears. Now, to where I'm pretty torn is the color that they chose to use. It's more of a grayish than an Arctic white. And I'm used to my Joker with a more of a whitish flesh tone to the face. Also, it would have helped if there was some shading to the hair. It is done in a pale green. It is coming across a little louder over the camera, but in person it's much lighter color. Plus I have lights just kind of beaming and radiating off of it. And I want to touch base on the second head as well, because I also think that this is a fantastic head sculpt. A lot of the same positives that I said, with the same glaring negatives, as this is more of a grayish color than an Arctic white. So moving past the head sculpt, I think the outfit is great. My Joker has to have a two-piece suit, which he does. I think the vest underneath looks great, as well as the black shirt. The stitch work is very clean. However, in this one area, you can see it's sort of tearing. I like the yellow flower. If you're wondering, I don't believe that it's removable. And I also like the fit of the clothing. It's loose, but not baggy. I think the shoes are cool, and they have some smudge on them, which I like. So they really did a good job of designing this figure. I'm very happy and pleased with the design. So, actually, before I do scoring, I didn't talk about like the buttons here. This is done very well, and I just like that it's in contrast with the shirt as well as the jacket, even though it's a different color. And this is removable. I don't want to take it all the way off, as I'm not so great with putting clothes back on, but it does come off to a full vest. And if you look in the back, it actually has the buckle part. This just added an additional point for me. That's it's a minor detail, but it's huge that they actually went that far. So for design, I'm going to give the Joker a 9 out of 10. So for functionality, we have some issues. So let's start with the head. Let's just replace this one. Let's pop on the new head. Don't know if I have a great... Okay, that feels good enough. So not only does the head turn, the entire neck part turns. And it shouldn't be like that. This is extremely loose, but it's not just the head. The entire body is loose. And when I say loose, I don't mean that's a good thing. The legs are extremely loose. They feel very fragile. I mean, maybe not to the point to where I can flick it back and forth, but it just moves so easily without you wanting it to move. You were able to see how the torso from the lower portion, how easily it's separated. When you move the arms around, they can barely stand up on their own. There it is, as it's falling down, and that should not be the case with an action figure that's over $200. I wanted to see if the legs would fall down. It doesn't appear that they will drop, but they have the same weakness in them as the arms do. The body just feels so incredibly cheap. Now, some of the positives, nope, let's stick to the negatives for a moment. So if you notice, my hands are throughout this video in some sort of way holding the Joker. That's because he cannot stand at all. I've tried everything. He does not stand well without a stand. But on his own, I cannot get the Joker to stand, no matter how far I separate the feet. Whether I go a wide distance, and of course, he stands for the camera. Welp, there you have it. Guess he does stand. Okay, so back to functionality and back to some of the positives. It will be with the costume, the fact that it is completely removable. It allows you to show your Joker in different ways. Looking at the pants, and I didn't know this, there's actually a zipper. Pretty cool details. But this doggone body, man. This body is awful. And now he stands like that. So for functionality, this score, I assure you, would have been much lower. However, Joker wanted to show off for the camera, and he's standing with his legs close together, separated far. So I'm going to give the Joker a 6 out of 10 for functionality. And that 6 out of 10 is just really based on how well the costume works with the body. Hold up. Don't count the scoring. I forgot some things. So remove that score for a moment. So I tried to remove the hand. The peg is stuck. I tried to pull it out. I did not use a pair of pliers as of yet. Tried to use my teeth to wedge it out, and I was unable to. So for the right hand, I am unable to currently change it. The left hand, I am able to change. I pull, peg comes out in the hand like it's supposed to be. And as you know, this is something that I love when the pegs are attached to the hand. So I just wanted to show some of the accessories. The hand works very well with the accessories. As you can see, it grips it very securely. However, I cannot attach this hand as I cannot get that peg out. So I'm going to try to use one of the other hands on the other side to use the weapons, not this one per se, as this is clearly a trigger finger hand, and we're going to see how easily this weapon goes into the hand. Pretty easy. And is the finger able to go on a trigger? Yes, it is. So now we have a cane for the Joker. I'm simply going to push it through. And I'm going to prop the hand back on, which I'm assuming should be easy enough. And you just see how awkward the arms look, man. So Joker is able to hold the cane in hand. An awkward pose as I was trying to put it in, but something about it I like. So using the same hand the cane was in, I'm going to use the switchblade. And he holds that very snug and secure. So for functionality, oh, there are some issues. This body wants me to give him a 0. This is how bad the body is. So for functionality, I'm going to give the Joker a 5 out of 10. So before we get to pricing, I forgot to show that the signs actually attach to the pistol. Same can be said for both. Though it's not an easy fit, you really have to push it in order for it to go in. Okay, so back to pricing. So for pricing, Joker comes in at about $235 for the exclusive, which this is, and that's before shipping. So I was able to combine shipping as well as use a discounted code. So I'm going to say I paid around $247 shipped for Joker. So now is he worth the price of admission? So let's see what he comes with. Joker comes with 6 pair of hands in total, and there are some great gesturing hands that you can use to put him in some great poses. He comes with an assortment of weapons. You get a revolver, switchblade, a crowbar, which I really like, as well as a cane for the Joker. And most importantly, when you're going to the 1/6 scale, he has 2 heads. That is crucial. In my opinion, every 1/6 scale figure should come with at least 2 head sculpts. And of course, you get a base and stand. And oh, how did I almost forget the playing card? And for those of you wondering, he can hold the card in hand. So now is the Joker worth that price point? Oh, almost forgot. He comes with this awesomely tailored cloth goods. Now, this figure could have... you can tell I don't know where to go with this as I'm so torn. Okay, let's take my emotions out of this. For pricing, I'm going to give the Joker a 6 out of 10. And the reason for the 6 is because of the body. The body is an absolute letdown. It is cheap, and when I say cheap, I don't mean in price, because the figure is not cheap in price. It is cheap in quality. This body feels worse than some of the $18 bodies that I've purchased off of eBay. It is an absolute shame that Sideshow decided to incorporate something that was so cheap with a figure that was on the verge of being brilliant. So now, is this figure a pass or a purchase? I'm going to have to say that it is a pass. The body is that bad. The only way I can see me keeping this figure, and I'm considering it, is purchasing a Fison body and placing the clothes and the head on that Fison body. But why should I have to endure the additional cost? I don't know if I want to. I'm going to actually return this figure. Hopefully there's an issue just with the one that I have, and this is not across the line, but I highly doubt it, as Sideshow is notoriously known for selling, creating, distributing figures that have loose bodies. That will give Joker an overall cliff score of... So here's Joker by itself. I had to lay him against the glass as I can't get him to stand again. Here's Joker next to the other version of Sideshow's Joker. Here's Joker next to Hot Toys Keith Ledger's Joker. There's Joker next to my custom painted Batman vs. Superman Batman armor. So thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.